Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it! So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and
Jason. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the worst of the best podcast. I'm your host Ryan. With me, of course, is my brother Jason. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Good to hear. Oh, sorry, I keep stepping on you. I do that. I'm so business like
okay.
Let's get
delayed.
going.
It's delayed response, delayed reaction.
Yeah, it's the satellite delay.
I was going to say this is the direct line from the Nixon White House to the moon. This is
that's right.
Probably wireless.
That's always amazing technology that Nixon was able to talk to them on the moon. I thought that was pretty amazing. Instantaneous communication. That's pretty cool. 1969 to have that. And they were able to stream to everyone's homes that same event that was happening in real time. So that's cool.
That was the first live stream.
That was the first live stream. But we won't be doing conspiracy theories today. In fact, I think we already did the moon one, didn't we? Didn't we already cover the moon? I think we did. Go check out our feed. There's a moon conspiracy theory episode, which was fun to do.
Yeah. So it's funny that you bring this up because last night at work, I was talking with a coworker and the moon landing came up and we're just having fun with it.
Sure.
And I thought to myself, well, we've done kind of conspiracy theories and moon conspiracy theories. I thought we should do one where it's like the top 10 reasons why we know they landed on the moon.
I don't think I could come up with 10.
And then I started wondering, where would
how do we know? Actually, I don't. I think it's harder to prove that we did. I think. Episode. I don't want to spoil that episode. Go check it out. I think we give some sound reasons. I think we were pretty level headed about that discussion, but it was fun. Okay. All right, Jason, this is the topic today. How's your sleep? How's your sleeping in general? Your sleeping habits?
It goes in cycles. I'm a bit of a night owl, so I tend to go to bed later than I should. But last night I had according to my smartwatch, I had a pretty reasonable restorative sleep, which was nice. I think this week in general has been a pretty good week of sleep, but as most of us, it kind of goes up and down, I think.
I do take melatonin to help me just fall asleep, but I go to bed fairly early between 9:30 and 10:30. I'm ready for bed. I'm out by 10:30, which is kind of good. I crash hard. I always get up 2 hours after I sleep, 2-3 hours to go to the bathroom, go back. But I'm an early riser. I get up between 5 and 6 every morning. Today I actually slept until 6:50. We were up a little bit late last night watching a movie as a family. So I actually, quote unquote, slept in. If I sleep in close to 7, which I did today, I feel like half my day's gone. So I'm a bit of an early riser. All right, Jay. So this episode today is about not just about sleep, but some things people do in their sleep, a little bit different activities between. Well, I don't want to spoil it. So today's topic. These are some crazy things people and animals have done in their sleep. So we always hear about sleepwalking or sleep talking, or you kick your partner while you're sleeping, or snoring. All these things happen. Those are common, right, Jay? I think the things we're going to bring up today aren't as common as people think. And I don't think everyone has done, or anyone that's listening to this episode has done any of these things, especially if you're an animal. I don't think you've done these things. So I think these are fun topics. I think this would be fun to discuss. So sleepwalking, Jason, is a common issue, and it affects up to 4% of adults. And has led, of course, to many funny stories. Have you ever been around anyone or seen anyone sleepwalk?
No. I've done a few things myself. Like I've kicked a hole in the wall once. My daughter, when she was young, she had a few episodes of night terrors.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there and try and wake them up or create a calmness or like snap out of it type of scenario. And it took a long time for there to be, I can't remember the age, maybe 4, 3, 4, 5-ish, which was terrifying for her, but also as a parent to see them in such distress.
I think I've been around some with night terrors. Maybe it was one of my kids' early days as well, years ago. They're older boys now, but yeah, I know what you mean. I had them as a kid. I actually had them when I was young.
Okay.
I was awake. I would see. I'd be quote unquote awake. I'd be aware that I was awake, and I would see images and people and ghosts in my room. And
I remember things like that. I remember, your imagination, whatever, or the veil between this life and some other dimension is very thin. Whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
And had very realistic experiences, such as that. But I don't ever recall seeing people walking around or thinking that, like, oh, I'm walking and I'm going to go in my car and drive to work. Like these extreme
That's what we're going to get into today.
Cases. Okay. Yeah.
So 4% though of adults, that's quite a bit. So out of 100 people sleeping, 4 of them are walking around. So, right. So on social media platforms, Jason, like TikTok and X, people have gained huge followings and gone viral thanks to their hilarious sleep antics. So I guess people film themselves. If it's harmless, of course, and not dangerous, I guess that would make for good content. Talk about easy content. Hey, I'm going to sleep and I'm going to film myself in bed and I'll post what happened at night online. I guess that would make for some good content. So you got 4 out of 100 people that are able to do that. I guess even if just half of those or just one of those people per 100 could do something funny, I guess there would be an audience for that.
There's an audience for everything.
There seems to be, except for our podcast. But some folks do more than just talk or walk in their sleep. Even animals can get up to some wild activities while snoozing. So pay attention, folks, as we dive into 10 of some of the craziest things people or animals have done while asleep. All right, I'll start with this one, Jay. So with remote work becoming more common, productivity has become a top priority. Writing emails and attending virtual meetings now feel like second nature. For some, sending emails can even happen in their sleep. That's right. Imagine this. A woman reportedly sent several emails during an 8-minute period in the middle of the night while she was asleep. These emails had odd capitalization, punctuation, and language. One subject line read, quote, "Help me, please." And another invited someone for dinner and drinks. Her friends were baffled by these messages, and she had no memory of sending them. What do you think of that one, Jay? Emailing people or texting people while you're sleeping?
Well, I suspect specifically the texting is definitely a thing. How many of us have fallen asleep with the cell phone dropping on our faces or,
Oh, it's funny you say that. It's funny that you say that. Sorry, not to step on you there.
Yeah, no, what?
I've never heard of this until recently. And I saw like a meme or some sort of fake commercial about to stop phones drop. I don't put my phone above me if I'm lying in bed. Why is it dropping?
I'm usually on my side as well.
I guess when I'm on my phone, if I'm lying on my back and it's just my hands are on my sternum or my chest area, and I'm just looking at my phone like this. I'm not putting it above my head like this. So I find this a lot of work to hold your arms. It's easier just to lay your arms naturally on your body, isn't it? Than hold it above your head. Am I the weird one by not holding it above my head?
I mean,
what's the fact that you said that though?
Oh yeah,
and I've seen memes and stuff. I was confused by I was confused by the memes or about buy this product to stop your phone from dropping on your head. I actually saw, I think it was a serious commercial that had some sort of like foam guard thing or something. So when the bonk, I'm like, who holds their phone above their head? So maybe it's more
if you're
common
falling asleep, it's time to go to bed.
Well, yeah,
just put your phone away. I forget what your question was.
I think in situations like this, I'm not a sleep expert, of course, neither are you, but I suspect what happens when you're, quote, asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you're not sleeping in the sense that you're lying down, sleeping, dreaming. You are asleep, but you're doing, we should make that clear. Because the person is, for all intents and purposes, the person is wholly unaware that they're doing anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So thus, they're in that sleep state where they might even think they're dreaming. And I'm such a weirdly light sleeper. I know I can never sleepwalk because I'm hyper aware. The moment I wake up, you touch my foot in the middle of the night, I wake up. So I guess I'm sort of a light sleeper because I'm always hyper aware. I sleep with the sound machine because a cat jumping off the counter, donk, or whatever it might be will wake me up. So I have to have white noise to drown out any kind of weather, cats, movements, spouse movement in bed, whatever it is. I can't hear it. Yeah.
I'm not somebody that gets bothered by interruptions. If something interrupts my sleep, I can kind of roll with it and be okay. Or I don't know if I even, always would wake up. But
then I say that I'm sure there's been stuff that's happened.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you track that? How do you track
I can't track. There was a noise that it didn't wake me up. Oh, yeah, I guess so. You're right. There was actually a thunderstorm recently that didn't wake me up. So there you go. And it woke up Becky. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's an interesting one. Jay, you got the next one.
So imagine walking 9 miles in your sleep. That's exactly what happened to a teenager in Colorado. Taylor Gamel, a 19-year-old from Denver, went missing for hours one Tuesday morning. When she finally woke up, she found herself miles away from home, still in her pajamas and without shoes. She had no memory of her sleepwalking journey. which took her about 9 miles from her house.
That's a good distance of walking, though.
That's like almost 20 kilometers. That's like 20 kilometers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on.
How do you do it?
No, this has got to be like an alien abduction and they dropped her off 9 miles.
You think that's more plausible?
That sounds more plausible to me.
In some ways, I guess you're right, because how do you avoid traffic, sidewalks, tripping, curbs?
Well, just exhaustion, like not necessarily 9 miles would exhaust
19,
you.
But yeah.
Okay, do I have a drink break? Anyway, yeah, Taylor's parents were frantic, and the police even used bloodhounds to search for her. Luckily, she woke up near her uncle's house and was Luckily, she woke up near her uncle's house and was able to contact her.
Why is every uncle creepy? Look, I'm an uncle. Come on, you're an uncle. Why are we all creepy?
I don't know. Luckily, she woke up near her uncle's house and was able to contact her family. Despite the long trek, she was unharmed, though her feet and legs were sore.
Yeah, because she's barefoot.
This incident highlights the incredible yet frightening capabilities of sleepwalkers.
They might not have known she had a history of it, but this took her to that extreme. But I understand there are people who do sleepwalk, and they'll have to like bolt lock a door or something like that, make it hard for them to leave the house. Yeah, because that's a real thing. I do have a news piece on this.
She just starts walking, and I don't think she knows where she's going or what she's doing, which makes it even scarier.
A missing sleepwalker in Colorado has been found 9 miles from home. Investigators think the 19-year-old walked most of that way, although she may also have taken a bus while asleep.
We knew that she was probably sleepwalking because she's done it before.
She was missing for more than 2 hours, much longer than most sleepwalking episodes. The young woman was unharmed when she woke up, even though she left her shoes at home.
Relieved. Yeah, relieved. I guess it's the biggest thing for us is knowing that we're not alone, that there's a lot of, like, hearing a lot of other stories and everyone talking about how they have kids who sleepwalk as well. It's nice to know that we're not alone.
It's interesting that, she's 19. I mean, she's an adult by law, and they're talking like she's 12. It's like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I find that kind of weird that the daughter wasn't interviewed either. It's kind of odd. They showed a picture of the daughter.
Yeah. Paris looked very normal, like very
chill. Yeah.
Yeah. And they actually look pretty young themselves for 19.
They look fairly young. They could be about 43, and then their daughter, they had when they were 25. But yeah.
Sometimes you have like these visions of what seems like odd behavior and what the people might look like.
Well, I don't think ugly people sleepwalk. Jason, I think good-looking people sleepwalk too. I don't think it's confined to ugly and weird people. It's an odd correlation. Okay.
Is it?
All right, Jason.
All right.
You know that feeling of waking up with rumbling stomach, craving a midnight snack? Well, for some people, that craving gets satisfied without them even being awake. Sleep eating, or nocturnal sleep-related eating disorder, is a fascinating condition where people prepare and consume food while sound asleep. According to reports, over 1 million people, mostly women, mostly women once a month, mostly women for 1 week a month, have experienced this unusual eating pattern. One such person is Amy Kochler, who had been a sleep eater since childhood. Her mom recalls finding Amy asleep on the couch as a toddler covered in chocolate chips. As an adult, Amy would routinely sleepwalk into the kitchen and munch on whatever snacks she could find, completely unaware of her actions. Her then boyfriend, Ryan, was stunned when they set up cameras and caught Amy zombie-like behavior, grabbing handfuls of M&Ms, drinking lemonade, all the while fast asleep. Okay, number one, maybe you should change your snack. Make it so they can snack on their apples and bananas and, start.
Yeah, why is it always junk food?
Yeah.
Oh, I just coincidentally, snack on junk.
M&Ms? Yeah, it's M&Ms and chocolate.
Are they preparing salads and, having a good steak dinner? No, it's just junk food.
So if you wake up surrounded by food wrappers with no recollection of your late night binge, you might just be a sleep eater. While it may sound amusing, sleep eating can actually be quite dangerous, leading to injuries from cooking while sleeping or consuming inedible items. I guess, you start eating paper clips or something. But don't worry, treatments are available to help curb those sleepwalking cravings. Again, very odd to do all that activity and not wake up, eh? I mean, that's what these are all about.
Why am I going to the thinking pattern that it sounds like an excuse just to binge eat junk food?
That, again, I'm not a sleep expert. I'm speculating here about the human mind and our bodies. I think it's very complex. So I think honestly, this is just me speculating, spitballing, riffing on the body and the mind. I think what we're seeing here, Jay, and I think you're right about this in particular, or the email sending, text sending. It's almost like you're in a drunken state too. You're sleeping, but you're still you. So whatever it is that they always say when you're drunk, the things that you are hidden, whether you're a violent or angry person, come out.
It's exaggerated,
or you're a flirtatious person, you're more flirtatious, or if you're goofy and funny, you're just even more goofy and funny. I know it's a simplistic thing, but that's the idea, is your inhibitions are let go to a degree. I think sleep eating or sleepwalking, sometimes those inhibitions or things that we hide might be expressed where you're not making the conscious effort to not do these things. So when you're quote unquote unconscious, then you're doing these things because you're not thinking about it. So it's a thoughtless activity because you're truly not doing it, but you're like your id or whatever's inside of you is allowing yourself, hey, because it is M&Ms for this Amy individual. It is the M&Ms or the chocolate chips. So she's, has food struggles. So she's not doing this when she's awake, maybe, or people like her, but they're doing it when they're sleeping because it's the mind's giving permission while you're out. I don't know. I don't know if there might be some connections to that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking of is maybe maybe this girl's particular situation, her blood sugars are probably maybe not quite regulated, and she might be feeling a low blood sugar in her sleep. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I don't make insulin, but sometimes I can accidentally give myself too much insulin, and the way to counteract that is to have sugar. Now, it doesn't sound like she's a type 1, but somebody who's metabolically not doing too good, especially has all those treats around, your blood sugars can swing up and down quite a bit. Yeah, maybe she's having some sugar lows in her sleep and she feels like survival instinct kicks in. And so she's eating sugar to help raise her sugars in her bloodstream. Yeah. Now, I also found it interesting. I would be curious. The medications, there are treatments. That doesn't necessarily mean a medication, but treatments are available to help curb these cravings.
I don't know. Maybe lock your covers. I don't know.
Probably just improve your diet in general.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, Jay, you've got the first animal related one. What's this one about?
Yeah. Believe it or not, sleep eating isn't just a human phenomenon. Reindeer do it too. These Arctic survivors have a unique adaptation that allows them to chew their cud and rest simultaneously. This isn't about Santa's reindeer, but their wild counterparts who endure the harsh Arctic winters. Researchers have discovered that reindeer can chew their food and enter a light stage of sleep known as non-REM sleep at the same time. This multitasking ability is crucial for reindeer, especially during the summer when they need to eat constantly to gain enough weight for the winter. By chewing their cud, reindeer can digest their food more efficiently while also getting the rest they need. Brainwave studies have shown that the patterns during rumination are similar to those during non-REM sleep, meaning the reindeer are effectively resting while they chew. This remarkable adaptation allows them to maximize their feeding time without sacrificing sleep, ensuring they are well prepared for the long, food-scarce winter months. Next time you think about sleep eating, remember that reindeer have mastered this skill to thrive in one of the planet's most challenging environments.
So maybe Amy from the previous story, she's just practicing or getting ready for the winter. She's just getting ready to hunker down for the winter.
Hibernate.
I never knew that about reindeer. Did you? That's fascinating that they literally they're chilling and they're just like chewing away there because they need to sleep. They have to eat so much that
they have to gain weight.
That's evolution, folks. That's crazy how their bodies have decided that's how we need to do to live throughout the winter.
Yeah,
to get
survive
while sleeping.
Well, I mean, that's why bears, they basically gain a ton of fat and they're eating well over the amount of calories that they typically would in the last few months before hibernation. They're basically becoming obese.
Right. Oh, it's interesting. I learned something new today. I did not know that about reindeer.
No, I did not know that either.
We do have one more animal one coming up later, which is interesting. But for now, Jay, we've got this one. Imagine going to sleep in a hammock and waking up at the bottom of a cliff. That's right. That's exactly what happened to Ryan Campbell during another Ryan. That's exactly what happened to Ryan Campbell during a camping trip with friends. After dozing off, Ryan unnaturally began sleepwalking. His friends watched in shock as he walked right over a nearby cliff, falling 60 feet to the ground below. According to the news, Ryan had an incredible stroke of luck, however. He landed in a rhododendron bush, which cushioned his fall and saved his life. Rescuers were amazed to find him with only minor injuries, considering the height of the fall and the rocky terrain. Ryan was treated for a cut on his head and a chipped vertebrae, but made a full recovery. He vowed never to sleep near a cliff again, a wise decision for anyone prone to sleepwalking. So, if you or someone you know sleepwalks, take Ryan's experience as a cautionary tale. Always ensure your sleeping environment is safe. I don't think I would sleep on an edge of a cliff, even if I didn't sleepwalk. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with that.
This reminds me of a story or an experience that I had. I went on a hike one winter, January 1st, actually. I just came back to my car. It was winter. It was very cold, ice and snow everywhere. There was a person that came up to me as I was getting into my car in the parking lot, and they asked, do you know a so-and-so? This is what he looks like. This is where he was last seen, type of question. I'm like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't seen anybody that looks like this description. Long story short, the night before he was camping, people woke up with him missing. The tragedy of it is he was found later in he drowned in the river nearby.
Oh, wow.
Who knows? Maybe he kind of did a sleepwalk.
You could have, absolutely.
He just disappeared in the middle of the night and was found in the river nearby, drowned. I mean, he could have been drunk or who knows? I mean, I don't know. No, it's hard to know. If it's similar to what this guy did, maybe.
I got a news story on this one, too.
Well, it was supposed to be a fun trip with friends to Kentucky's Red River Gorge, but then that frightening fall. The man says he never expected to go to bed and wake up at the bottom of a cliff.
All search and rescue. We have a fall with a 27-year-old somewhere around the Grays Arch area.
The urgent call for help just moments after Ryan Campbell falls 60 feet into the pitch black night. Campbell, on a camping trip to Kentucky, had gone to sleep in his hammock, but his friends say just an hour or so later, they watched him sleepwalk right over the edge of this cliff.
We don't need too much tension.
Rescuers quickly responding, rigging lines, preparing to rappel down to reach Campbell. Upon getting to the bottom, incredibly,
I was pretty shocked that I couldn't really find any discernible injuries.
Rescuers finding Campbell conscious, alert, and talking.
I was sure I was dead, or at least severely messed up. I mean, you don't think you're going to fall that far and walk away from it.
Soon hoisting him back up that cliff in a basket.
It was surreal coming up the way I came down because, I got to see every foot of this cliff that I had just flown over.
And rushing him to an ambulance, he was treated at a nearby hospital, released just hours later.
It looks like miraculously, out of all the places he could have landed, he landed in a rhododendron bush.
Campbell's rescuers believe that giant bush likely saved his life.
Otherwise, that more likely than not would have been a fatal fall.
And for his part, Campbell says he's hanging up his hammock.
I'm not going to put myself in a position to have that happen again.
It's good to smile about that now, right? Well, perhaps the most defining moment for him, he said he remembers waking up after that fall and wiggling his toes, and he called that a huge relief.
Yeah, I'll bet, Gio. Thank you so much. Unbelievable story.
Dude, 60 feet is a long way.
That's good. That's a good amount of. That's a bit of a fall. You're gonna feel that.
That's a distance.
Oh man, ooh, scary. Other than the black eye there in the interview, he looks like he's okay there. I don't know if that black eye was for the fall or from a bar fight the night before. I'm not sure. All right, you got the next one there.
Imagine having a talent that only emerges when you're asleep. That's the fascinating case of Lee Hadwin, known as the sleep artist. Lee discovered his unique ability at the age of 4 when he began scribbling on walls while asleep. What sets this apart from typical childhood behavior is that Lee was completely unaware of his actions. By the time he was 15, his nocturnal creations had become intricate, including detailed portraits of Marilyn Monroe. Despite having no artistic skills while awake, Lee's sleep-induced artwork has captivated many. He shared in an interview, "I have no artistic talent in my waking life," which makes this all the more strange. Lee's story has intrigued people worldwide, leading to a high demand for his artwork. Some of his pieces have sold for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Beyond his artistic success, Lee uses his platform for good, donating a portion of his sales to charities like Amnesty International. So if you ever doubted the mysterious capabilities of the human brain, Lee Hadwin's sleep artistry might just change your mind. That is bizarre.
Lee Hadwin from North Wales, a pretty average artist when he's awake, but when he's asleep, he's created some masterpieces. The 36-year-old has had no artistic training, but when he's in the land of Nod, he's drawn pictures that have reportedly sold for six-figure sums. One was even purchased by Donald Trump. Lee explains how it all started.
From an early age of around about 4 years old, I used to just get up in the middle of the night and start sleepwalking. And it progressed to just scribbling on the walls and the floors. And then into my early teens, the artwork started getting more intricate, and it's progressed from there.
As these pictures show, Lee has quite the talent asleep. He's left doctors baffled as to why this isn't the case when he's very much awake.
The brain, man, I don't get it. Our human brain it's fascinating. I don't get into the whole metaphysics of like past lives or who knows what, but I think, again, when you're unconscious and you're quote unquote asleep, your brain is tapping into parts of the dreamland, dreamscape, or whatever that is, where it's blocked off when you're awake. But when you're unconscious, you're able to tap into parts of your brain that he can't tap into. So obviously he can draw, but when he's awake, he's like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Like, it's not until he's asleep that he taps into some hidden talent.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, you can dial it back, right? You can say, oh, I'm asleep. And then I don't know.
They studied it, obviously. I mean, it seems.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, you set up your room or your home so that you could pick up pencil and paper.
Yeah, well, when you discover it, you make it available. So when it happens, you're able to do it. Sure.
Is he aware that he's doing this?
I don't know.
Because, like, how do you draw Marilyn Monroe perfectly positioned in the paper?
That's what I mean. There's like, people.
I know you're saying that
they're flipping pancakes or doing those things that are awake, but they're asleep, but they're still able to function to some degree. Like, if they were with it, walking for 9 miles or tripping on a curb. So something your body's
there's a limit there's kind of like a limitation's been taken away.
All right. It's almost like you're a zombie, really, because you're not aware that you're doing it, but you're doing it.
I mean, there's people who have hit their head and they've never played the piano before. Like there's a famous story, guy hit his head. They hit their head, diving into a pool, wake up the next day, and they're like, can play the piano. Had an urge to go to the person's piano that he was visiting and just started playing like unbelievable music. And he does now.
The music is in his mind. His fingers do the rest. What Derek Amato has is a gift that came in the most unexpected way. It happened 12 years ago in a swimming pool accident.
I miscalculated diving towards the shallow end, and I struck the bottom of the shallow end on this side of my head and damaged the back end.
After recovering, he was at a friend's house and walked over to a keyboard, and suddenly, without having played before, his hands were all over it. It's called acquired savant syndrome. The trauma to the head unlocked something unique inside Derek Amato's brain. Here at Classic Pianos, he explained to us that black and white squares appear in his mind.
I just follow what the blocks tell me to do, and I don't think I catch them all, but, I do my best to take as many of those notes as I can and put them into playing.
Notes he cannot comprehend on paper.
Reading music seems very confusing for me. I've tried to learn a couple different times.
He is well aware he has been given a precious gift.
And there's another person, language. Speak a different language.
And vet någonting om...
This is 61-year-old Johan Ek from Sweden, at least he thinks he is. His name is actually Michael Boatwright, an American Navy vet. In February, Boatwright woke up in this California emergency room in a Nordic state of mind, only speaking Swedish, unable to recognize his own face or even his son. Visibly emotional, he spoke to the desert sun through a translator.
The name I knew that I had, Johan Ek.
Police say Boatwright was found unconscious in this Palm Springs Motel 6, along with 4 forms of identification and a cell phone.
The cell phone, it contained several phone numbers, all of which were phone numbers from the country of China.
Records show Boatwright may be a graphic designer who taught English in Asia and apparently lived in Sweden for part of his life. After several weeks of tests, doctors diagnosed Boatwright with the neurological phenomenon transient global amnesia. Experts who have not treated Boatwright say his condition may be more psychiatric than neurological.
It can be very challenging to figure out that the cause of somebody's sometimes very dramatic symptoms is actually psychological.
It's not the first time a person has woken up speaking in a foreign tongue. In 2010, 51-year-old Kay Russell went to bed with a bad migraine and woke up speaking with a French accent. Her diagnosis, foreign accent syndrome.
It goes way, way, way beyond my voice.
Social workers are working to get him Social Security and veterans benefits and are looking for other living options in the meantime.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird. Brain's funny, man. I love it. All right, Jason, imagine continuing your career in your sleep. No, not me, man. I want to go to bed and not work when I'm sleeping. I hate dreaming about work when I'm sleeping. That's such a waste. Like, I'll be there shortly. I don't want to dream about work or anyone from work. That's the reality for Robert Wood, a 55-year-old former chef who has taken sleepwalking to a whole new level. According to reports, Robert sleepwalks 4 or 5 times a week, heading straight to the kitchen. However, while asleep, he has whipped up omelets, stir fries, and even chips. I guess like homemade potato chips. As fascinating as sleep cooking sounds, it's been a nerve-wracking experience for Robert and his wife. The fear of potential accidents, like burning down the house, has led Robert to seek medical help. This story serves as a reminder that while sleepwalking can lead to some impressive feats, it also comes with significant risks. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's cool that you're sleeping, you smell, what's that smell? You go down and there's your husband or your spouse or whatever in the kitchen cooking like omelets. And you're like, honey, what are you doing? And he's like, what? Like, they would wake up in the middle of the cooking. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. What a weird experience that would be to be woken up and you're in the middle of the kitchen cooking. You're like, I don't know how I got here. Especially cooking, you do have to be careful about fires, obviously.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin your dinner.
No. All right, you got this one?
Yeah. Another falling story.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up to find that you've taken a 20-foot plunge out of your bedroom window. That's exactly what happened to teenager Rachel Ward. One night, while sleepwalking, Rachel got out of her bed, dressed, and walked straight out of her window, falling 25 feet to the ground below. Her parents were understandably terrified and rushed her to the hospital. Miraculously, after a series of tests, including x-rays and CT scans, doctors found nothing wrong. Rachel was kept overnight for observation, but she only had a minor backache. The doctors were baffled, suggesting she must have collapsed like a rag doll because she was still asleep during the fall.
I think what happens here, honestly, I think this is, you hear the stories of drunk drivers, right? When they get into accidents, they survive, but the people they've hit are dead. You've heard of that common. It's not always the case, but apparently what it is when you're in a drunken state, your body's relaxed.
So relaxed for the hit.
That's right. Whereas the other people are getting tensed up because they're about to have the impact and they have to see the impact coming or something. They're more tense and alert. So the fact that she was asleep when even though she got dressed, one that decides to walk right out the window, she was asleep while she fell. So her body was just like relaxed. So it just kind of like hit the ground in a relaxed state. So it kind of bloop. Yeah, she had her backache, fair enough, but there was no broken bones or anything. She probably just like plopped right onto her backside and that's all she wrote. Because she was in a relaxed state and nothing was tense when it hit the impact of the ground.
25 feet. I mean, we're talking about a 60 foot, 25 feet is.
She had no bush, not around the ground. You ever hear sleep talking? Well, of course we have. Well, it turns out dolphins do it too, but with a twist. They might be sleep talking in a different, quote, language. According to Live Science, a group of dolphins in France were recorded making whale-like noises late at night. These dolphins had only ever heard whale sounds during their daytime shows, yet they mimicked these sounds while they were asleep. Dolphins are fascinatingly smart creatures. Dolphins are known for their intelligence, and this study suggests they might be replaying their daily experiences in their mind, including the whale sounds from their shows. Researchers found that these whale-like noises were made during the dolphins' rest period, mostly between midnight and 3 a.m. This led to the intriguing possibility that the dolphins were essentially sleep-talking in, quote, whale. That's fascinating, Jason. They were speaking another language, another animal language.
Yeah, that's cool.
This discovery opens up exciting new avenues for research into dolphin intelligence and learning processes.
Similar to what we talked about, a person hits his head and they can play the piano, speak a different language. It sounds similar, a similar thing. So we obviously have a very untapped, like when we're conscious, we're seem to be limited in many ways. Not all of us, or maybe actually all of us, we're limited by our conscious experience versus the unconscious experience that can be, let us be open to other avenues of intelligence and skills.
Yeah, the fact that the dolphin brain, and they are very intelligent creatures, but we've seen this with other animals, with the whole idea that all this untapped potential or untapped, I really wish we could tap into our potential. I hate that we can't. Like, I feel like there's so much more we can do that we just don't get to do, just because we're not able to tap. Like, maybe I can play the piano, I just don't know how to tap into doing it.
But what I was wanting to say though is you have dogs and cats, and we've all seen our dogs talking and kind of barking and even running sort of like in place in their sleep.
Yeah, I've seen that with my dog there.
Lots. Yeah. They're doing something. They're having an experience of some sort.
They're dreaming. We have to assume they're dreaming.
And I've seen my dog like jump up and kind of look around.
Yeah. There's a lot around us, Jay, that we don't know or understand. Yeah, for sure. All right, Jason, there you go. There's our list of sleep experiences. Some, include walking, of course, but different scenarios where people have found, or animals have found themselves doing activities while they're sleeping beyond just sleepwalking. So for our worst pick, I guess for me, is which one do you not want to have happen to you the most?
Yeah.
So, for example, even if you include the animal ones, like, that's fine. If I'm talking a different language, I'm talking Japanese while I'm sleeping, that's cool. Or if I'm with the other animal, if I'm eating and sleeping at the same time, I don't mind that. I've actually fallen asleep chewing gum before. It's almost the same thing. Instead of chewing cud, I chew gum. But I think for me, I think it's sort of easy. I think the worst experience, the worst type of activity would be the falling one. I guess falling off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, pretty hard to deny that a 60-foot drop.
Even if you landed on a bush, I don't want to take my chances.
I wonder if he was awake when he hit. No, I guess he wasn't. He woke up when he hit. Yeah, what a terrifying wake up.
Oh yeah.
Like, you would have to try and clue into, like, where am I? What happened? Like, it would take.
The girl that fell out the window 25 feet, she was asleep for the whole fall, and it was the impact that woke her up. I think the other guy, if I remember the news story, I think he might have woken up. I think the fall might have been long enough to wake him up. If like a 60 second, he might have been awake enough. Imagine just waking up just in time to hit the ground. I don't know what's more terrifying. Here's the question: would you rather wake up mid fall or just have it hit the ground?
I think hit the ground.
Just have it be woken up with a hit.
Yeah. Oof. Because that fall, 60 feet is long enough for you to have lots of thoughts.
That is scary. Falling is scary. Because it isn't the fall that kills or hurts you. It's not the fall. You can fall a long time without any injury. I always like when people say it's the fall that no, because what about parachuters? They free fall all the time, the hundreds of meters. They don't die. It's the impact that kills you.
But how long would it take for you to? Where am I? What happened? Did I get thrown off the cliff? Was that an attempted murder?
His friends. That's right. His friend said, "Oh yeah, he did a sleptwalk," but they all chucked him off. For all he knows, he got thrown off by the buddies. Yeah, that's funny. All right, well there you go, folks. Another fun episode. Last week we did the mascot one. Was a light episode. This is another kind of a light episode with a little bit of tinge of science or brain activity. Interesting discussions there on how the brain works more than anything. It's pretty obvious pick, of course, is the nobody wants to fall, and of the two falling ones, this is the furthest to fall. Granted, you land in the bush. Would you rather land in the bush, or would you land in the ground at a shorter fall?
I think I would rather land on a bush.
Okay, there you go. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks for listening. Send us an email or something. I don't know. Rate us, all that good stuff. We appreciate your support. We do appreciate everyone who comes back episode after episode. We do appreciate you guys listening. And remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud. And today, for both Jason and I, we agreed on this one. It was falling off a 60-foot cliff while you're sleepwalking.